Hey guys, it's Blake from DDS Sports Talk. I hope your summer was as great as ours was this year. Looking forward to getting back in the saddle because now it's time to turn to the prediction shows. Let's go back and look at some of the highlights from last year's shows. All right, guys, the prediction shows were always a fan favorite. You guys absolutely ate those up last year, so we're going to be delivering them again here this year. Again, we're not professionals. We're just three dudes discussing sports, and sometimes we get them right and sometimes we get them wrong. Let's take a look at one last year that Parker and I just bought into the hype and got way wrong.
They only earned a record of 8-4, 4-4 in the SEC behind Coach Jimbo Fisher. He's been there since 2018. Parker, he just inked the #1 recruiting class for 2022. They need an SEC West title to make all of this come together. I just don't know that they can.
Yeah, it's not going to be this year. They absolutely need it. But you know what? They landed the top recruiting class of 2022, but freshmen are children and they usually don't contribute immediately. But this roster, we're talking a year early. This roster has 11 seniors on it. That's it. The future for this team is crazy, crazy bright. I just think that I feel like maybe we keep saying this about them, but next year seems to be the year for this team.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels like we keep saying, oh, man, did you just look at what they're building? It's going to be next year. I really went out on a limb last year for these guys, and they made me look like a dipshit. Let's just be real about it. They laid, as far as I'm concerned, that what were they? That 8-4 record was a giant goose egg for me.
I had them in the SEC title with 11-1 last year, and we saw how that went.
But it's hard to ignore the amount of talent that they're amassing. It's hard to ignore that. I mean, there are some people calling it a freshman invasion that they're having with all the talent that they're having coming through there. But they're going to have to push that ball downfield better. They got to get better there because that was kind of their thing. They never really could push it downfield.
But that's it, because very early in the season, Parker, we had the injury to quarterback Haynes King, and then they just never really got that consistent play, right?
Yeah, I mean, Zach Calzada, who may not start or may start for another team. Who knows? This year, we're looking at Max Johnson. He was good at LSU with a terrible offensive line. Maybe he does something. I don't know. They've got to be able to run the ball better. They've got a great running back, but their line was terrible last year. 20% of their runs were stuffed. And guys, it's not just, again, with SEC team after SEC team, brutal schedule. At one point during this schedule, there is a 9-game stretch where the average defense they play is going to be ranked in the top 25.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to find a way to get the ball downfield. You mentioned the quarterback situation. What does Newberry always say? If you don't have one quarterback, how many do you got, Newberry?
None. I usually say if you've got 3, you've got nothing.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, I know they've got a young, talented guy sitting on the bench, Connor, I believe it's Wiseman. I can't tell if it's an S or a G, guys. I'm sorry. Can't read my own writing. But he apparently is a very highly touted quarterback that they are really high on, and he is chomping at the bits. And it would not surprise me for Jimbo at some point, if he's not liking what he's seeing from some of these older guys, fine. I'm going with my own guy here. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me one bit to see that.
Let me tell you what I like about this team. I like their defense. Parker knew it was coming. They only allowed 15.9 points per game. Defensive coordinator DJ Durkin has gobs of talent up front. They're going to be nasty. They need to beat Bama. They need to win the West, but I'm not predicting it.
Dude, defense, you took the words right out of my mouth. If you look at it, look at the D-line.
Yep.
They lost everybody from last year, but it doesn't matter. They brought in recruits. They brought on transfers. On average, every single person on the defense is a top 100 recruit in the country. All of them.
Yep. Walter Nolan, Shamar Stewart, Gabriel Brownlow Dindy, Anthony Lucas. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, the amount of talent that's sitting on that defensive line. So, I mean, we're talking about talent again, right? We're amassing all this talent. Is this going to be the year? Are we going to take that next step forward? Are we going to skip a step and then leapfrog at Bama? I'm not so sure about that.
What do you think? What do you see? Do they slip up against Sam Houston in week 1? No.
I see a collision course. Again, we said this last year, right? It's a collision course in week 7 when they play the Alabama Crimson Tide. I see no reason that those two teams shouldn't be 6-0 at that point. That's all I got to say about that.
And their final record is?
I've got them going 10-2.
Strong.
Yep.
Texas A&M wins games they have no business winning, and they lose games they have no business losing. Last year, they lost to Mississippi State. Yep. Last year, they lost to Mississippi. Last year, they lost to a bad LSU team. And I think it's going to happen again. This schedule is brutal. I am very down. 7-5.
Wow. Parker might be right. What can I say?
I can make an argument that they barely make a bowl and go 6-6, but I'm not going to. I think they hit a rough stretch with they're playing in Jerry World against Arkansas, the beloved team of Jerry Jones. At Mississippi State may bite them. At Bama, they're just thinking too much in that game. I'm going 10-2. 10-2.
It's going to be a fun
and
one.
it could be as low as 6-6. I wouldn't be surprised.
It is a tough one to pick. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, they bit me in the ass.
Would it be surprising if we saw Texas A&M and LSU flip? I could see that.
I mean, but the thing is, though, is after an 8-4 season, a 10-win season, I mean, that's kind of how you do it, right? You progressively get better and better, and you let that talent grow up a little bit each along the way. You let them get filled full of piss and vinegar because you lost to Alabama last year. That's what I'm thinking. Like I said, we don't always get them right, but there are some pretty hard and fast rules. And one of them is you better keep your name out of our mouths if you're a head coach, because it could mean curtains for you.
Squad have pissed in a lot of people's Cheerios. And guess who those people are, Blake? It's the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, they had 0 sellouts in Louisville.
Yeesh.
The fans are getting sick and tired of this. Here's another stat for you. They have lost 3 straight rivalry games to the Kentucky Wildcats by a combined 109 points. They're getting their ass handed to them in their own state. Coach is on the super hot seat. At best, I see 6-6. Bowl eligible. It probably won't even be enough to save coach.
I think he gets fired right after the Kentucky game. Somebody else will be coaching their bowl game.
Parker picks 6-6, bowl eligible, but all 3 of us have them at the same record. I think it could be a little better if we had any faith in the coaching staff, but
yeah,
it's just stuck in the middle here.
Coaches playing scared do not work out well at high level football.
Nope. We're moving on to Nebraska. Nebraska last year, let's just call it what it is. It's disappointing. This whole tenureship of the coach that Blake wants to talk about has been horrible. A 15-9 overall record for Coach Scott Frost. No winning seasons, no bowl games. Blake, what do you want to say about this guy?
So let me take you back. Let me see. What was it like 2017? Scott Frost was the hot name. Everybody wanted Scott Frost. We had Tennessee fans saying, why not go get Scott Frost? He was the darling. And I'm sitting here looking at this, and I don't see a freaking winning record yet.
There's not.
All right, let's start here. Let's start here with
18.
in 2018, 4-8. 2019, 5-7.
Ooh, he improved.
Then he dropped back down 3-5 in 2020, 3-9 in 2021.
Oof.
I think that there's going to be a trend. I was fairly generous with some of their games, but I think there's a strong possibility that somewhere in this schedule, there could be a game that if he slips up and loses,
it falls off the track.
He gone.
Okay.
I think that they may be without a coach for half of the year.
It's funny you say that because part of my thing was about Scott Frost. They were so happy when they got him. He was like their savior, right?
Yeah.
They were going to fire him this year, and he had to take a pay cut
Just to stay.
Stay. And you're right. Never had a winning season. And this is going to be a fun one for us, y'all. They have a new transfer quarterback from Texas named Casey Thompson, and this kid can throw stuff that Adrian Martinez, if y'all remember how bad he was, this guy, Adrian Martinez, can't even dream about what Casey Thompson can do. It is a big-time transfer for them. And my big thing on them is I really believe in regression, positive and negative. They lost 7 of 8 games by a single score. Many of the analytic community point to their dead last ranking in special teams because of that. So they really need to get that figured out.
Let me get you guys to circle a game on your calendar. This is where I think things could really, really get ugly in Nebraska. The Rutgers game in week 6. He loses that game. That's like losing to Vanderbilt. I'm saying he loses that game. He gone, and I've got him losing it.
Oh, jeez. Last year, Auburn went 6-7, 3-5 in SEC play behind Coach Brian Harsin. He's coming back for his second year. His biggest claim to fame last year, Parker, was he almost won the Iron Bowl against Bama.
Yeah, I'd say his biggest claim to fame maybe what happened in the offseason, but we'll leave that for a different story.
No.
But you're right. But they also didn't end it well. 5-game losing streak to end the year. They lost transfers all over the place. Guys, this team's going to be bad. They don't have a quarterback. I'm going to guess it's TJ Finley from LSU, but I'm going to sit here and say right now, right here, Brian Harsin will lose his job this year, probably during the season.
Wow. That is a bold prediction for all you folks out there. But I mean, you mentioned it, Mike Bobo, he's out as OC. They promoted their wide receivers coach, Eric Keeson. I guess that's how you say that. Bo Nix, he gone to Oregon. TJ Finley. Yeah, I guess he's the guy, right? I guess Zach Calzada he's in there too somewhere. I mean, transfers all over the place. Goodness gracious, the transfer portal is wreaking havoc. Their leading receiver is gone. He went to UCF. I mean, good grief. I don't know. Tank Bigsby, he's the one bright spot, right? He's great running back. There was a time that everybody thought he was going to be transferring out. He was definitely on the top of everybody's list, but he's good. He's very, very good. I don't know. I don't see it this year. I think they're going to struggle for sure. I don't know. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say he's going to lose his job in the middle of the year, but it's going to be uphill sledding this year for sure.
Parker mentioned a lot of drama.
Well, like I said, you better keep your name out of our mouths. And I can tell you right now, we did have some pretty shocking predictions last year. Here's an example of one that I don't think any of us actually thought would come true. But old Noobstradamus strikes again here and predicts the Jaguars winning the AFC South last year. Take a look.
All right. So my prediction comes down to this. A game that will be flexed on week 18. The Tennessee Titans visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Parker says that game won't matter to Tennessee, but I argue it will. Because the winner of this game will lock up and earn the number 7 seed in the playoffs. The Titans will need it. The Jags will need it. But you know what happens when you come to Duval week 18? The Jacksonville Jaguars win that game and go to the postseason. They're going 9-8.
That's only when Indy is in Duval. Titans have a home away from home, as we all know.
I know. All the players have second homes there.
Changes. I'm going Indy.
Whenever the Yulee Dozer comes into town, I don't think you got to worry about it.
It'll be Indy 10 wins, Jacksonville 9 wins, Tennessee 8.
Little parody here on the panel.
10-9-8.
Little parody. This is good. This is good stuff. So with college football being really close to being here, guys, we're working really hard, working around the clock, trying to do our day jobs and doing this job as well. We're working towards getting these prediction shows done again for you this year. There's always so much interesting discussion that happens in the comments section. I can't wait to hear what the other guys have to say about the prediction shows this year. Really looking forward to it. Share this with all your friends. We really appreciate all the support. We're looking forward to another great year of college football and NFL football and all the other sports that follow it as well. Anyways, down there in the comments, what was your favorite moment from last year's prediction shows? Looking forward to the new ones this year. You guys stay tuned for more. But as always, it is Two-Tone Blue all the way. You guys be well.